What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Resident Evil Remake gameplay for you. The original remake, which is ironic because we're going to be talking about this, but the possibility that has been grazing the internet last few days in the Resident Evil community. Now, I'm not going to get too much into all the rumors or whatnot. I'll mention them briefly, but the whole purpose of this video is just to talk about something I feel. I raised a poll up on my channel basically asking, would you guys want a remake of the original Resident Evil remake? And the majority did say yes, and once again, I have no problem with that. I personally do not. But before I get into my reasons why, I guess I'll give you all the, supposed, whatever you want to call them, leaks, random information, maybe some guy BSing. The only problem I'm having is there's been so much information, just people finding, information all over the place, with whether it's Resident Evil 9, this remake, whatever. It might as well at this point just reveal something. Reveal something or just shut up, because it gets annoying after a while, because you don't know what to believe, what not to believe, and by the possibility that it might be true, it's just driving people nuts. So just give us something. And with the whole, I think, PlayStation Showcase coming next week on the 24th, as well as the Summer Festival next month. Two opportunities to show something, but we'll see. But here is the information we got from the remake. And as I said before, take this with a grain of salt, but I'll just get over it so we can move on to what I want to talk about. Will be slower paced than Resident Evil 2 Remake. Each zombie will have their own unique model due to the small number of enemies within the game. More bullets required to take out Resident Evil 1 zombies than Resident Evil 2 Remake zombies. Quota as bullet sponges. Crimson Heads will return. Well, you better have Crimson Heads, trust me. RE1 lore will be explored further. A different third-person camera will be used, slower paced again. No more pre-rendered backgrounds. Each room will load up background assets, and the rest of the assets will load when doors are open. To this, improve visuals and lighting. And as I said, take it with a grain of salt, but it's not the point of my video, because, regardless of what it is. But the big rumor is going to go around is that Resident Evil 1 Remake might possibly be a thing, might be one of the next remakes, because of the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil. Now, I get it. That sounds all nice, but as I said before, I am personally not one that wants to see it. Not that I would have a problem with them doing it. I definitely would play it, and it'd probably be a great and enjoyable experience. That's not my issue. I have a couple reasons why I personally would not want to see Resident Evil 1 get a remake. And I think the first one, you can probably just tell how I call it a remake, is number one, if anything's to get remade, remake the games that really need it. I thought the whole point of a remake was to remake something that might have been from, and I guess for my argument's sake, you got me. Yes, the remake is over 20 years ago, but this game we're seeing right now, it still holds up great to this day. It's an excellent game. I still think it's the perfect Resident Evil of this type of Resident Evil in terms of the fixed camera angle Resident Evil era. I still think it's the overall best. It's about as perfect as you can get it. I really can't say a bad thing about this game, but give other Resident Evil titles that need it. Like, I don't know, that thing called Code Veronica seems to be taboo for Capcom. But the other reason I have, and it's just the I guess it's just my whole thing. A remake? Like, we've already remade Resident Evil 1. Why do we need to remake it? Because it's the principle of it. Because if this thing hits, and let's just be honest, we know damn well it's going to be successful regardless. I mean, Resident Evil's kind of got everybody by the balls right now. I mean, even if you release a terrible Resident Evil game, maybe if you release a bunch of them in a row, that'd be a problem. But even if you do release one that isn't that greatest thing ever, it's still going to sell well. So my problem is, if we're remaking remakes, then what's that set to the rest of the industry? Are we going to do that trend now? Because I feel like they're getting a little out of hand with the remakes. Like, I get it, I understand it, but now everything needs a remake. I've heard of it trying to remake Horizon Forbidden West. Like, the game came out 7 years ago. And yes, I know if you want to be technical, yes, Resident Evil got a remake 6 years after the original one. I get that, but let's just be honest. The first Resident Evil and the Resident Evil remake, they're pretty damn night and day different. Like, that's a big, huge difference there. But my point being is, I just feel like that'd be a bad thing overall, because I feel like so many other people would just take advantage of it just to lose originality and just try to make a buck or two. And I just feel like it's really, not to say that I don't think in this case it'd be a bad thing for Resident Evil, but just a bad thing for everything else outside of Resident Evil, because some companies, you know, they're going, you give them an inch, you'll go a mile with that stuff. So I'm a little fearful of that. My next reason I really don't want this personally is for this, is that, and this one is a little bit different, but I get a little worrisome, because I remember when Resident Evil 2 Remake came out, and I remember the big debate that we had. Now, a lot of people loved it, enjoyed it. Some people liked it more than others. But the big problem people had was they were debating, oh, which one is better, RE2 Remake or the original RE2. I think both are excellent games. Both are obviously, you know, different, have different ways of playing it. But the biggest difference would be RE2 was the fixed camera angles, and RE2 Remake went for over the shoulder. And obviously, the over the shoulder is probably the more popular way to play. I think we can guess, even though I can't confirm it. I know that the rumors said, you know, third person, weird third. We'll see what that means. But my point being is that I can almost bet you that they're not going to do fixed camera angles for a Resident Evil 1 remake. And if they do Resident Evil 1 remake on the RE engine, like the other ones, basically just about all the major Resident Evil titles that were used to be fixed camera angles have now been changed to over the shoulder. My problem is, it just seems like they just want to, not that I'm saying they're doing it intentionally, but it seems like they want to erase that whole era of Resident Evil, what it originally was. I know they're probably never going to go back to it, but I just feel like this is like the one game they got kind of left, because they don't acknowledge Code Veronica at all. They just ignore that. But it's like every other game they get a newer remake, and all the newer fans, and once again, I'm not getting mad at him. I get it, I understand it, but I just don't want, basically I don't want the fixed camera angles to be forgotten and just be like replaced. Well, here's the newer remake. You know, no one's going to care about that old stuff anyway. That's what I'm afraid of, because once again, this game is a masterpiece, and I get it, I understand it. You know, you got to go with what the majority wants, and granted, you know, I don't have a problem with whatever the camera angle is, as long as the game is enjoyable. But it is a little sad to see, and I'll just be like, you know, that's another thing. That's like the last battalion they got. And if that goes away and it gets all replaced by, you know, the new remake on the RE engine for Resident Evil 1, that might be the last nail in the coffin, just being forgotten about that. Because, I mean, look at Resident Evil 2 Remake. I think by the end of the day, at one point, it's going to be the most sold Resident Evil title of all time. And a lot of people, and sad to say this, are going to be like, well, who cares about the original RE2? We got this one. And, you know, I like them both. I wish we can have a world where they both can coexist, but unfortunately, it's always the new thing comes in and the old thing gets weeded out. I just wish that whole style doesn't get forgotten. That's my one thing. If you can tell me we won't forget that and we'll keep it alive, that'd be great. Because one thing I could say to counteract that argument, and this would be a great thing if Capcom would do it, I still don't understand to this day why they've never done this, is could they release a classic collection of 1, 2, and 3 together from the old days and put in a classic collection and bring it there? If you can do that, then I'll be like, okay, fine, I'll let you have this remake. But I just don't want the old days to disappear, just basically be forgotten and lost in time itself. But I also do get the counter argument. I get it. You know, you can't force people to play certain styles they don't want to play. I get it. And, you know, the over shoulder and all that is a lot more popular and stuff. And, you know, I don't want to sound like the old person is forcing the younger new players to play your way and whatever it is. I personally don't care whatever way it is, as long as it's entertaining. But, and by the way, what the hell is Barry doing? Yeah. All right, maybe you give me a reason why I should see a Resident Evil 1 remake. If they can give me some good Barry moments just to laugh at. But yeah, I don't know what the hell he was doing there. Reminds me of one of those like games where you have a turret that's auto locking on you, but since you're moving all over the place, it can't like figure out which way you want to go. But as I said, I get both sides of the argument. I wouldn't have a problem if they do remake Resident Evil 1. I just personally are not asking for it. I'm not jumping out of the seat for it. One thing I would like them to do, though, and I think a lot of people will agree with me on this, if they do remake Resident Evil 1 again, is can we get an actual canon ending? You know, where everyone's on the chopper, not just 3 out of 4. You know, we've never had the ending where you have Chris, Jill, Barry, and Rebecca make it out. That'd be a nice touch to it. So I'd definitely like to see that. But nonetheless, as always, like, that's my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. What's your thoughts on the possibility of Resident Evil 1 Remake being remade for the 30th anniversary again? Is that something you personally want to see? Or are you someone like, you know, I really don't need it. I think other things need it more than RE1 Remake. Let me know in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. And hopefully I can see you guys back on the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.